Hi, everybody. Um, let's do a message from universe. And so the color that I'm seeing this message at is at a spring green, which is perfect because over here where I am, it is spring, spring equinox. So happy spring, everybody, and happy autumn to everybody else where it's autumn where you are. And the interesting thing about this is that I was looking at this color came out like clear. I was looking at it and just green, green, green. Then I was looking at the color to do this reading from, and I was seeing kind of like a dark red that was kind of removed from my, so say here's my mental screen that I'm looking the colors from, right? It was like right above that, it was there's an energy, and then like right above that there was a dark red that was there, and I was looking at that, and then I was looking at it and there was some white around it too. And I was like, I don't think that's the color. I mean, that's the color that's showing up to say I want to be read from this color, but that wasn't the color of universe, of spirit, right? That we want to read it from a high vibration. So it wasn't like if I had read it from that red color, it wouldn't have been message from universe. It would have been message from whatever that red color was, right? So I was asking universe about it, and they said read it from gold. So I'm going to put that gold color out just to remind ourselves. Because, I mean, if you look at any energy or any situation, there's different perspectives that you can see that scene from, right? If you look at a situation, you can look at it from the perspective of the person that's not feeling so great, or you can look at it from the perspective of source, right? Or look at it from the perspective of somebody who's being able to see the big picture of everything and not just looking at one narrow corner of something, right? So I think that's what the thing is. And so I think this reading, the message has something to do with the way you look at things, the perspective from which you look at something, because you can look at it from different multiple points of view. Okay, so let's start with the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Okay. I'm seeing this is just an energy. I don't think it's from universe, but it's just the energy in general. There's lots of changes going on around just Earth in general. So it's kind of like something that used to be routine or the same is somehow different now during this time. So this could be like on a global scale. This could be like personally, individually, just in your reality, right? Or maybe like your section of the earth or something like that. There's a lot of changes going on. And again, you can look at that from the point of view of the bigger perspective of, okay, changes happen all the time, no big deal. But if you narrow it down and get really, really specific at one point and you look at it from there, you're like, oh my God, and if you read tarot too, then it's like, oh my God, tower moment, oh no. But then, after the tower, there's stuff rises again, right? After the fall of the tower, stuff rises again. So it's kind of like that. I'm seeing big changes, not necessarily bad changes or like bad feeling changes, but sometimes people are uncomfortable with change. And maybe something new and better is coming, right? It's spring, right? Spring, like after the winter, then you get the renewal, and maybe there's some new stuff coming that's even better than before. It's stuff that you've been asking for. Don't be afraid to receive it, right? Okay, so they're saying 2 cards from the Psychic Tarot Oracle. I couldn't have set this up better. Green, transformation. This is also the death card in traditional tarot. And the death card talks about end of a cycle, and then after the death comes the renewal, right? The beginning of the new cycle. Oh, I love this. You see that on her forehead right there? It's gold. So seeing from gold. So perfect with the colors that came out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And if you look closely at this picture, this is a giant cement kind of stone mask that's she's taking off to really look at this fresh new green spring being, right? Removing what was before and now really looking with your fresh eyes, with your new eyes at something. And I mean, I'm seeing like awe and astonishment on her face, like whoa. And it's like after you been through the hibernation, the wintertime, and you come out, you're no longer a caterpillar, you know, your butterfly wings are coming out all fresh from the cocoon that's falling off of you now. And it's like, look, my hair looks great. My skin is soft and new, renewed. There's a regeneration happening here as well. It's being birthed, and then also being rebirthed, right? And then there's almost like a surprise to that. Like, I didn't know it could be this good. I was kind of scared of it, but now that I'm looking at it, now that I've come out of that shell, I didn't know it could be this good. Okay, triumphant success. And again, coming out of the ground, which is again, it's green, right? Green right here. Coming out of the ground, out of the hibernation, out of the winter, the metaphorical winter, and rising up with your sword. The sword talks about like beliefs, thinking, mental clarity. This is also the Ace of Swords in traditional tarot. So, and also it's the number 1 card. Like, remember we were talking about after the death, the ending comes a new beginning, the number 1. And there's strength too in this hand that's holding the sword, saying, I can do this. Do you know that song? If you're a fan of Abraham Hicks, they have the song. I believe the lady's name is Francine Jerry. They played the song at their at Abraham's seminars. I can do it. I think they even play it on Hay House. Go look it up. It's on YouTube, but I think it's also on Spotify. It's just called I Can Do It. He goes, I can do it. I can do it. Dream big. I can do it. And it's like, it's this really uplifting. I mean, it's kind of a silly song, but it's like, it's really happy. It's really, really happy. But yeah, go listen to that song because you can do it. You can do it. Whatever it is, I swear, there's this kind of, because from that kind of really dark red that I was seeing, that energy was saying, read it from here. I felt like it was from a fear kind of standpoint, but universe said, no, read it from gold. Read it from the source energy, the true you, the one that's not scared, the part of you, the spirit of you that's not scared. The human you might be like a little, like, oh my God, death, or, oh my God, change. Oh my God, something's ending. But then look at this new beginning that's coming out. Like, oh my God, transformation. Like, transformation. When is transformation ever comfortable? Right? You think about it like puberty. Like, how is that comfortable? But, you grow out of your awkward phase, right? And then when you're a little bit more mature and more into this springtime and out of that winter time or out of that change time, and you're grown, your body's different, but you're gorgeous. You remember that period of time when you're out of puberty and you're closer to like young adulthood and you're like, oh my God, I'm gorgeous. It's happening. It's happening and it's so exciting. And don't be afraid of it. You know, there's this, speaking of puberty, there's this period of time of awkwardness, of confusion that happens to everybody. And so I'm not just talking to people who might be of that age right now, of that period of time where you are going through puberty, but anybody else who's going through any kind of life change like that, where whether you're changing jobs or you're getting married, like changing your marital status, getting divorced, getting like any kind of relationship change, job change, any kind of life change. Maybe you're moving houses. There's some kind of, like, oh, my stability's getting shaken up. Now I'm moving on to this new thing. And there's, even if say we're talking about moving, say even if you're moving to a great city, you have a great house set up for you, but just that process of having to gather all of your things, and then every time you gather your things, you kind of have to throw out some stuff because there's stuff that you don't use anymore, that you don't need anymore, right? And like even the you think of like skin renewal, you slough off dead skin cells so that the new cells can come out, right? Your regeneration. It's like there's a period of time where it's kind of awkward during the change, where you're kind of afraid, even though that new thing looks like a great thing, but you don't know it. It's still new, right? And the comfort of the old, even though it's over, even though you're ready for the change, even though it's no longer suitable for you, no longer fitting for you, but there's still a comfort to it because you know it, right? And it's like universe is saying, don't look at it from that old standpoint, the dark red, that fear standpoint of maybe it'll be worse, after the change, right? 'Cause it's kind of like that. In this gold that we're reading it from, it's like you have to see that whatever is coming for you is what you've been asking for. And for some of you, we've been asking for it for a long time. And it's been a long time and a gradual asking that maybe when you first come upon it, you don't even recognize that oh wait, this is something that I wanted. Like maybe you don't even know it, recognize it in the beginning. That's why you're surprised, right? But then once you kind of like accept it and you release the mask, you release the winter, you release that hibernation, and you kind of wake up your eyes, open your eyes, and really look. There's a kind of like a visceral, like an emotional, energetic resonance, a feeling inside you when you first when you first meet someone, and it's the one. Like any of you who've ever fallen in love or met somebody that you ended up in a relationship with, when you first meet them, you don't know them, right, physically, and then after you've been with them for a while, you kind of feel these feelings, and then your mind, that dark red, your mind goes, are you sure? But your heart goes, yes. It's kind of like that. Like, listen to that feeling inside you, and not the fear words that are going through your brain. Listen, feel the feeling, and listen to your inner guidance, the source within you that's calling you to this success that's waiting for you. Okay, next one. Secret Traveler Oracle cards. All right. The more you let go of any anxiety, any hesitation, the brighter this thing that's coming to you, the brighter it will be. I'm seeing that in this white light that's coming through from the sword. Those of you who work with angels, who want to start working with angels, maybe you haven't yet, this card, and especially like since the blue border and the sword, it's reminding me of Archangel Michael, whom I do work with. And his energy is showing up, saying you can call on him to help you with clarity, right? Help you with focusing and clarity and knowing of moving forward, helping you with bravery. You know, if you are a little bit afraid of this coming out of this transformation, like what's coming for you, like moving forward. Oh, you know what? I want to show you this. So right before the reading, I have this Ganesha ring right next to me. And right before the reading, I picked it up and I looked at it and I kind of like just placed it back where it was. And I thought, like, should I have it in my reading space today? And but I just put it back because it's just right next to me. But I think I'm supposed to show this to you. And it goes so well with this gold too. This is a bronze ring. It's the Ganesha is the destroyer of obstacles. The destroyer of obstacles. And it'll be so funny if, because there's this card called Overcoming Obstacles from this deck that we're about to pull from, and if that card comes out, oh my goodness. Well, I don't know if it will, but but we're going to put Ganesha right there to, you know, help you. So we have Ganesha and we have Archangel Michael. You can call on both of them, okay? Or either one of them that you feel drawn to help you if you're like, you know, this transformation is either you're viewing obstacles in your way that aren't there, or maybe they are there and you feel overwhelmed by them, and that it would be difficult for you to just break out or get past it. It's all perceptual. Again, it's all perceptual. Even if it appears real, reality is perceptual. So once you're able to perceive it in a different way, perceive it from a higher perspective, and just follow your heart towards the thing that you're wanting to create in your life, towards the direction that you're wanting to go. That obstacle, you'll be guided around it, or it will disappear on its own. It's perceptual, okay? Like, don't be afraid. That's a big message. Just don't be afraid. You have help. Okay. Solitude and silence, peace prevails. So, speaking of help, the little owl on her shoulder is the inner voice. Make sure you're listening to the right voice. Okay, so say you go into meditation, or say you're in the quiet of when you go to bed, right? And a lot of people have trouble going to bed or falling asleep because they're hearing a lot of mental noise. It's just energy, you know, energy that is in your space that you can clear up by meditating. You can clear up by, you know, being quiet and listening to your heart versus listening to the other voices in your head. You can clear up by exercise, taking a walk in the woods, in the quiet. It helps if the reality around you is also quiet. You know, I mean, if you're in a noisy place, it's hard to clear your energy. So if you can get to some place where you're alone, and then have it be quiet on the outside, then it's easier for you to focus in a way where you can quiet your inside. And so I feel like this card is just talking about, like, because she's looking, I believe she's looking in a basin or something like that of water where it's reflective. How you view your life, how you view yourself, maybe your own beauty, your physical beauty, maybe just your perception of yourself as a person, right? Listen to the right voices, right? Don't listen to that dark red that might be looking at you, or voices that you've received from, say, other people, or like the critical voices, right? Don't listen to those voices. Listen to the wise voices. Listen to your source, to the gold, right? So this little owl right here is like your little owl is talking to you. That wise voice is that inner guidance is talking to you all the time. When you reflect upon yourself, upon your own life, and you sift through those thoughts that are in your brain, make sure that it's the clear voice of source that you're listening to. So at the beginning of this reading, I was telling you there was another energy, that dark red, and I looked at it and it looked suspicious. It looked sketchy, and I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to read, even though I saw it, it's there. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this reading from that color. I made a decision. I made a choice. I asked universe, right? Just to clarify. So you can do that. You can ask. You can ask Archangel Michael. You can ask Lord Ganesha. You can ask your spirit team. Hey, I'm viewing this thing from a certain perspective. Am I viewing it from the right perspective, maybe is I'm viewing it from fear. Maybe I'm viewing it from the world, the physical world. They have a perspective. It's not always true. It's not always accurate. It's not always the highest vibration, right? Am I viewing it from the news perspective? You gotta make sure you're looking through the right lens, right? That the highest vibration of you, the truest, most accurate inner guidance from yourself, the wisest, right? So you can ask, and then you can choose. You can select, I'm going to choose to take the happy path. I'm going to choose to take, the highest path. There's a choice that you can make. Benefit of the doubt, right? Quiet yourself down before you make any decisions. So this is also the decision maker. There's in tarot, the second card that comes out after this comes after this is the Two of Swords, that talks about indecision, being blocked, right? It's two swords crossed like this. This is the decision maker saying, I'm taking one path. Make the decision to view from the higher perspective, to view from the gold, to view from to listen to the little owl inside you, the wisdom inside you. Everybody has that wise voice. Do not listen to the critical voice. You may have been brought up with a critical voice, externally, that somehow got ingrained internally, because they just kept talking on the outside, and then you took it in and believed it. Oh no, right? Listen to the wise voice. Okay, next one. Getting into the Vortex relationship cards. It's directly from Abraham. I'm curious, are any one of you or any of you Abraham fans, like I am, Abraham students? Leave a message in the comments and let me know. I want to know how many other Abrahamsters there are that watch these videos. It'd be interesting. Feels like family, right? When you meet another Abrahamster. I actually did one time at my previous job. I get to meet a lot of strangers. It's a customer service industry. In the travel industry, actually, and I get to meet a lot of people from around the world. And this one time, I was talking to someone, and we were talking about, just like positive things, happy things, and I mentioned Abraham, and the man that I was talking to said that he also listens to Abraham. I was like, whoa. And we just had like a connection, like a moment. And we were just both praising, like how amazing the teachings are, how amazing our lives have changed since we came across Abraham's teachings. So yeah. So if you are one and you want to acknowledge or say hi to another Abrahamster, me, go ahead and leave a message in the comments. Oh, so perfect. My most important relationship is with my source. This just popped out when I was shuffling and talking. Right? Your most important relationship is not with the external. It's with the internal that you connect with when you're in silence, when you're in peace, when you're in solitude. So listen to that inner voice, your source voice that's within you. There's no relationship of greater importance to achieve than the relationship between you and your physical body, right here and now, and the soul, source, God, from which you have come. If you tend to that relationship first and foremost, you will then and only then have the stable footing to proceed into other relationships. Your relationship with your own body, with money, with your parents, children, grandchildren, and your world will all fall easily into alignment once you tend to this fundamental relationship first. Oh my gosh, that's so perfect. Yes, yes, everything that I said before is this. Yes, yes, yes. And this is showing it like in like the solar plexus area, like the area like right above your belly button, your gut feelings, right? Trust your gut feelings. But I've also heard Abraham say that every cell in your body is receiving from your source. So it's like every part of you is receiving from source. So get every part of you into alignment. Make that connection. I'm getting the message that when you're in alignment with source, the communication that comes through, the inner guidance that comes through is really clear. So clear, in fact, that sometimes you don't even recognize that you're receiving it. It's just everything flows really easily when you make decisions. You just know what you want. And if and you don't really like think about it. You don't really make that distinction that wait, I'm in alignment right now and I'm receiving from my, like, me and my source are one. I've connected with my spirit. My spirit is flowing, is me, and flowing through me in such harmony that I don't even see a distinction between me in the human consciousness and me, the higher consciousness. We are together. We are one. And I feel like they're saying begin to recognize when you are in alignment so that it's easier for you to recognize when you're not in alignment too. So that it's just an awareness. And you'll develop that the more you meditate, the more you pay attention to your quiet moments and to that inner voice inside you. You'll kind of develop this awareness that of when you're in alignment and when you're not in alignment, when you are one with your spirit and when you're kind of a little bit split from your spirit. You can't be totally split. It just, it's not possible. But when you're feeling like in that dark red energy, when you're looking from fear, you're split from your spirit. And take notice of when that happens and when you're together with your spirit, and you'll know when to trust that inner voice that comes through. The more you pay attention to that, of when you're in alignment and when you're not, the more you'll be clear about when to trust which voice is the wise voice. You'll be able to know more clearly. So that when when you're going about your day and you hear that little voice inside your head and you're like, who's talking? Is it me, the true me, that's talking to me, or is it some other, and you'll be able to make that distinction, and then you'll be able to make the decision whether to listen to it or not. Right? Okay, next one. Witchlings. Let me get a little sip of water. Okay, I'm gonna move these guys up a little bit, make room. All right. There's a message coming through for some of you, this transformation. There will come a point during the transformation when you'll start to feel more comfortable, like physically comfortable in your body. Maybe if it's like, say, moving into your house, right? Your new house, that you'll feel more physically comfortable being there, like more settled, and you'll feel more at home in the new home. Kind of like that, right? There's like a physical feeling that you're going to feel in your body where it's like, I can relax. And so look forward to that. That's coming. And if you are, say, moving locations into a new house, or maybe into a new office, new job, or whatever it may be, take some time to be alone in that space, to kind of say hello to that space, to harmonize your energy with the space so that it feels more like you get that feeling, like that resonance feeling, that harmony feeling. It's kind of like so an example of that is like, remember how I got some new decks. Actually, I have some more new decks now, but there was, in one video I had talked about getting a new deck and then kind of needing a few days to kind of match energies either with it or get familiar with it until I felt like I could receive universe's messages through it. Because for a while it was unfamiliar, and it was like, I don't know if the energies of the people who created the deck match my energy, and I was having a little bit trouble with it. But then after some time of playing around with it and doing some readings with it, and then also just kind of talking to universe about it, right? That eventually I did some readings and some cards came out. I'm like, oh, I know how to read with this deck now. It's kind of like getting familiar with an unfamiliar, with a new thing. So you can do that with a new office, with a new home, with a new, generally, like if it's a person that you're, getting more familiar and comfortable, you have a conversation, then you sit down and you have lunch with them or something like that, right? And then usually with relationships where there's a harmonious match, there'll be a conversation or some kind of incident where both people will have that moment of harmony where you recognize, hey, you're my people, and then you become friends, right? And you're like we get each other, we become, and you might not match on every point of everything, but there'll be something that you guys match on, like maybe you guys like the same, I don't know, drink or something like that, right? Or maybe you guys like the same band, the same kind of music, or there'll be something that'll make you guys both resonate from the core and go, okay, this person's okay, I like this person. And it's like, you can do that with spaces, with houses, with offices, with with things, right? And I feel like there's a message in here that talks about that. This new thing that's coming in, spend some alone time with it, whatever it may be, or in it if it's a location. And feel that, like, call your source, connect with your source while you're in that space, and harmonize with that new energy so that it feels like home to you. Maybe that person feels like home, or the object feels like home, or the new job or the space, whatever it may be, feels like, okay, I belong here and you belong with me in my life. Yeah, I'm seeing that, like right there. There's a resonance, like right there. It will. Whatever this new thing is that's coming in, it belongs in your life. Like source energy is saying this. It belongs in your life. So during the adjustment period, the transformation, it might take a couple days, it might take a little bit for you to recognize, especially if you're viewing from that red energy or viewing from that fear perspective, that you might not recognize it right away. But once you settle into the energy and you accept it, you fully accept it, you'll realize, oh my gosh, yes, this thing, this place, this person, and I belong together. We belong in each other, with each other. Okay? Okay. I'm not making this up, right? I'm not. Transformation. Self-transformation is the evolving process of life that brings higher consciousness. So, accepting that transformation brings you to your relationship with Source. That's what this is saying. From your higher perspective, from your spirit point of view, spirit is you. You and spirit are one, but it's just you stream a part of yourself into this human body, and then now you kind of feel like you're two different things, like you're this human consciousness and then you're also this higher non-physical consciousness at the same time. When those two energies are in harmony, that's when you feel at one. That's when you're in alignment. That's when you're one with Source, right? Together. There's from here, I feel like your source, you as source energy, you as the higher consciousness, you're conjuring up transformation. You're conjuring up growth for your human person that you're viewing physical life through. Your human perspective. You're conjuring up all sorts of good stuff. Look at the joy that's in your face. You as higher consciousness going, yeah, let's throw some good stuff in here for my human to experience some new stuff. And here's your little owl again. There's so much synchronicity in this reading. So much. Wow. I'm just feeling it. I'm soaking it in. This is amazing. I love it. Okay. All right. And the next one. There's also, I'm just seeing how this applies to my own life, because it's showing up in my head right now. I'm wondering whether to talk about it because it's just about me. But I think it also applies to a situation for you, where it might not, this new thing that's coming in, it might not be like a thing or like a person or a place. It might just be a new phase in your life where success is rolling in, or like success is rolling in, so that there's there's a change that's coming through. Maybe you're in the same job, maybe you're in the same relationship, but that there's a fresh energy that's coming in that will kind of spice things up, or like put some magic in there, or like maybe your job has been going a certain way for some time, or maybe your finances have been going a certain way. Like maybe it's a gradual getting more money, or but the change that's coming, this new fresh energy that's coming, it's like a steeper, like an inflow of abundance, something like that. There's like a higher energy, a greater wealth that's coming in, a greater, if we're talking about relationships, like a greater passion that's coming in. If you have a partner and all of a sudden he shows up with flowers and gifts, or like he shows up and say, hey, let's go out dancing tonight, or let's go do something fun, let's go on a trip or something, that's this new fresh energy that's coming into your relationship. And yeah, I'm just seeing something like that. So your external landscape might be the same. It might not be like the kind of shift where you're moving to a new country or something like that. You might be living in the same place, but there's a fresh energy that's coming in. So that might include getting new furniture. That might include, or just more fun in the house, more new activities in the house, something like that. But it's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. So if it's like a business, you might get like an influx of new sales, new customers, something like that. There's a new energy that's coming in. And there's also like, I'm seeing a clearer direction of where you want to go to. So if you're making decisions, a clearer, like, oh, where should I go to school? What should I study? That kind of a thing. You'll get a clear answer, a knowing of which direction you want to go in. There's indecision coming from here. So I'm going to shuffle some more. We're just talking about clarity. Okay. All right. All right. 2. Unfinished symphony. Yin. Okay. So it's perfect that this yin card comes out right underneath the solitude card, where we were talking about like receiving guidance, receiving from the wise voice, right? Because yin talks about receiving. Oh, and we were talking about the basin. And there it is. There's the basin where you can reflect back on yourself. I'm seeing stability coming from the base of this basin right here. This, I don't know what to call it. I guess, yeah, the base, the pedestal, right underneath the bowl. There's a stability. Oh, and for the first time, I'm actually seeing like an overflow. I never looked at this card that closely before, but there's an overflow of I feel like it's good energy that you're receiving, that's coming through. And there's a foundation, meaning like you're steady, you're stable, you don't have to be afraid of being overwhelmed by what comes in. So for some of you who may be playing around with mediumship, receiving, I mean, all of this is kind of like mediumship. Anytime you're receiving from source energy, right? Like everybody is a medium, and you know, it's like everybody's psychic, everybody's receiving from their source, right? Receiving the inner guidance. They talk about intuition and all of that. So, but if you're really focused on it and saying, you know, I want to be a medium or I want to be a receiver of spiritual energy, like specifically, you know, saying that of yourself, don't be afraid of receiving of there being like an overflow, like too much information coming in where you're overwhelmed by it. That could happen for like when you're just beginning and you're meditating and a lot of psychic stuff is your psychic abilities, your channels are starting to open up and you're like kind of a little bit freaked out because it's new, and you know, this is your spiritual transformation, right? The information that comes through for you, it's not too much, but you might feel, as the human that's receiving it, you might feel like it's too much because, and the only reason why you would feel like it's too much is because there's a fear that you're placing over yourself because you don't know if what's coming is a good thing. And this is saying you're solid, it's okay, let the energy through. If you would open your channels and let the energy through, then your channel's not too small. Like you get to control how much you let through, right? If your channel is too small because you're wrapping fear around it and you're hesitating, you're putting the brakes on the energy that's wanting to come through, that you're wanting it to come through, you're calling for it. The only reason why it's coming is because you're calling for it. Nobody's inserting anything into your space, okay? It's like an invitation of you saying like, I desire this, I want to receive. So you're calling for it, the energy's coming. The stronger that your desire is to connect with spirit, the stronger the flow of energy is that's coming through, right? And if you're calling for it and saying, I really want this, but I'm scared, then you're kind of like, you're calling this waterfall to you, but you're pushing it back. You're trying to push it back, but you know, you can't push back a waterfall. But it can really mess you up. You know, if you're standing under a waterfall, that really strong flow of water, it could really mess you up. It's very powerful, right? But if you open yourself to receive it, like you are the lake beneath the waterfall, you're receiving all of it instead of you're this little being, you know, beneath the waterfall being crushed by the water, right? Open yourself up to be this basin, this lake, this receiver, and all that you're calling through to you is going to be healing, it's going to be clarity, it's going to be, you know, alignment, it's going to be like answers, manifestations of the things that you want. It's like, don't be afraid of receiving what you're asking for, okay? I feel like this is really specific to somebody who's actually doing this, because I don't think all of you that are watching this reading are saying, I want to be a psychic medium. But maybe one of you is, right? Or maybe a couple of you are. But so whoever this message is for, this is a really specific message for you saying you can do it. You have a strong foundation. Do not be afraid of the overflow. The less afraid that you are of what you're doing, of what you're wanting to do, the clearer the energy is coming through, and the more open your body, your physical body, will be to receiving the energy. So that it's kind of like if any one of you do like Kundalini yoga. Kundalini yoga is very, very powerful. Like you're doing these movements to call energy through you, but if you're kind of fighting against it, people talk about like Kundalini awakenings or symptoms or something like that, where your body kind of freaks out because there's too much energy coming through and you can't control it. Yes, you can control it. You can control it in terms of like how much you're calling through and how much you're letting through. So don't call something and then close the door. You have to open your door. So that's that's what this is saying. You have your door open, the energy flows through, everything is fine and wonderful. Like you feel euphoric, right? But if you're calling something really strong but you're not letting it through, it can break your door. So don't do that, right? So that's what it's talking about. But they're telling you you have a really solid foundation. Go ahead and let it through. And it's good stuff that's coming through here. Okay? All right. It's not hard work. This is a really it's powerful, but it's a really soft energy. You see that in the feminine, the yin, the pink, right? It's just about receiving. It's not you're not sweating here to effort to try to do something. You're receiving. You're just opening up to receive. Okay? All right. Unfinished symphony. I feel like this egg is going to hatch. Like you're kind of incubating. We were talking about like birth and rebirth and coming out of your shell and stuff like that. There's this energy right here that talks about maybe for some of you, you're still sitting on your egg and you're like, I don't think my egg is ready to hatch. It's not quite there yet. And it still needs more incubation. It still needs more growth and development on the inside. And you're kind of sitting on it. I'm going to see what else comes out because we have we have one more deck. But there's this kind of energy right here that this particular card right here is not. Oh, you know what? I think I know what it is. It's everything that we talked about over here going, don't shut the door. And this is like the shutting of the door. Like I'm not ready to receive all the energies coming through yet. Okay, I think that's what it is. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is really clear what this is talking about, but this energy, you remember how when we were shuffling the deck and I tried to pull it the first time and I'm like, there's confusion here or there's indecision here? That's this. That's I'm not sure which way to go. I'm not sure, about the transformation. I'm just not sure. I just want to sit on this a little bit more because I'm uncomfortable with the change. So this is like non-movement or kind of like a refusal. And this message is saying, let it through. This good stuff that's coming in, let it through. So that's why that's why I'm having trouble reading this. It's because this is that energy, that confusion and the indecision and the not ready. Let me pull the last card, make sure that that's what it's talking about, because I think that is what this is talking about. Okay, so this is one of my new decks that I got. The Gateway Oracle card. I've known about it, and then I just didn't feel drawn to get it until recently when I saw it again. I'm like, I really like this. I really like the messages. And then when I got the deck and I started using it, it's so intuitive. It's so like everything that comes out makes sense. So I love this deck. It's another Denise Linn deck. Denise Linn made this one too. Is it the same artist? I believe it's the same artist. Jesse Reisch. I'll check in a minute. Let me get the card. But I think it's the same. Oh. There's too many things coming out. I think it's the same artist, but I really like the artwork too. Cultivating prosperity. The abundance of the universe is pouring into my life. Pouring. Now we're talking about that waterfall. Waterfall. And that's so funny because the picture doesn't show the right? If you look at the picture, they look like it looks like the plants are just like little tiny, not ripe, not fully grown yet. But the message is that it's an abundance, it's overflowing, right? Pouring. But the picture doesn't show that it's pouring. That it's like harvest time or whatever. It's talking about cultivating the prosperity. So it's like a process of gathering, the process of nurturing, the process of, so it's a process. It's not like the end result of something yet. It's the growing of something. And this is the message that you kind of have to say it before it happens. You kind of have to know that abundance is pouring before it actually pours, right? And so the cultivating prosperity is like the the opening of your arms to receive. So there's this energy going on here of like not ready, and then the ready and open, and then this is like the in between of you have to get from this place to where you're saying, where you're starting to open your arms to receive, where open your channels to receive, so that it can start to flow through and flow through in a clear manner. Okay, second card from here. There's a stubbornness to this character right here too. Yeah. Almost like I want to do it in my own time. I don't want to yeah, so whoever this is, and this might not apply to everybody, but whoever this is, that's you're in control, you know. You are in control of when things happen for you. And if you don't feel that your egg is ready to hatch, or that it's been boiling enough where you know how some people like soft boiled, some people like hard boiled, like maybe you're waiting for a more hard boiled egg. And you want to wait a little bit more before you let the stuff in. You want to work on this cultivating the process part of it before you get to the point where things start flowing through. You're in control of everything. Okay, so nobody is saying that you have to do anything, but there is a stubbornness to how you're wanting to view the world. You're kind of like, say at the beginning of the reading, when I was looking at that red energy, or read, or and I made the decision to read from to ask universe, and universe showed me to read from gold, and I made the decision to listen to universe. You can make the decision not to listen to anybody. It's up to you. I mean, there's all these voices talking to you. You can make the decision to look from your perspective, and not look from the higher perspective. But this, I feel like universe is saying, come in, the water is fine. And you're like, no, I don't. Either I don't trust you, or like I'm going to stay on the land for a while because the water might be cold. And universe is saying, no, come in, the water's just fine, it's beautiful here. And you're like, no, I don't want to, I'm not ready. So whoever you are that's doing this, it's your right to do it on your own timeline. Do it whenever you feel ready to do it. But universe is saying, come in, the water's just fine, and it's beautiful over here. Okay, last card. Is it coming from there? Okay, they're showing me a different deck. They're showing me this deck, actually. The Affirmators Morning Mantras. Okay. Yeah, it kind of makes sense that this came out because they're throughout this reading there's been two energies. So it's good to talk about them both since they showed up, even though universe really wanted me to emphasize that we're reading from gold. But we'll talk about that red energy right there. But it's a choice, okay, everybody? It's a choice. So some of you might choose that. Today, I'm going to fall in love with all the little taken for granteds. The trees, flowers, clouds, hills, gentle breezes, touch screen technology that make this world so damn wild and dynamic. The planetary design team really went all out on this one. This is talking about appreciating everything in life. So we're going to talk about like global, the physical world. It's so easy to, watch the news or like just look out in the world, see how everybody feels about every little thing, in the world, especially on the internet, right? Because people will tell you what they think. And the people with the really extreme views are very loud. And, there's a lot of people who go on the internet who don't comment, who don't express their viewpoint, and they're happy, they're fine with everything, they're not complaining. But the complainers would really go on the internet and make videos and do podcasts and talk about what's wrong with this part of the world, what's wrong with that part of the world, what's wrong with these people, what's wrong with those people. And you can look at the world from that red energy and go, fear, 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 fear. Everything's bad. Look at all the horrible things that are happening in the world. Or today you can fall in love with the world, with all the little things that are in the world that are amazing, and view life, view physical life, the physical world from God's perspective, Source's perspective, and look on the bright side of everything. Look at the greatness of the expansion of, like we're talking about technology, we're talking about, look at the weather, right? And people, oh no, climate change or whatever. But you can also look at it and go, oh my gosh, the sun is shining today and I love this lovely weather. Or if it's raining where you are, oh good, we're getting some water, like we've been needing some water in this part of the world. Like there's a balance that's happening on Earth. Universe is telling you, come into the world and play. It's great. The water is fine, right? And there might be some of you that are watching, with that kind of stubbornness, like, no, the world is not fine. Look at these horrible things that are happening in the world. And Source is saying, you're seeing it from one particular standpoint, one particular angle. Whereas if you lift up and you look from the higher perspective, you'll see that everybody is cultivating prosperity, in terms of like prosperity, meaning like the wealth of all good things coming in, right? In not just money, but like health, everything, all the being prosperous in all ways, right? Whether things may be looking bad right now, you're taking a snapshot of something. But if you look at the big picture, you'll see that, oh wait, it's all part of a cycle. It's part of a cycle of a maybe the cycle is stretched out to like really, really long, where it's like, if you look from God's perspective looking at Earth, maybe it's talking about thousands of years. And the human lifetime, of course, you're getting a snippet of the thousands of years, and you might be like, oh no, we're going through like the bad time during this cycle, one point. But if you look at yourself as a spirit, an eternal spirit, this one lifetime is not the only time that you're going to spend on earth. This is only the one blink of an eye, in terms of how your spirit looks at what's happening here, right? But you also get to decide. It's a decision on your part. Are you going to enjoy this part, this blink of an eye? Are you going to enjoy this blink? Because you can, because there's good stuff during this blink, and it just depends on how you look at it. Can you fall in love with the trees? Can you fall in love with the flowers and the clouds? Or are you going to say, oh no, there's clouds, it's going to rain on me? Or are you going to look at the clouds and go, oh, look, it's in funny animal shapes? You can look at it in different ways. Like this stubborn person, you get to choose how you can look at it from the perspective of goodness and success, that transformation is good, that to trust that your spirit is throwing in good things into the cauldron to create magic for you. And if you will allow the good to come in, to overflow into your life, then you'll see your crops growing. You'll see all the good stuff that's coming. But because if you choose to put the blinders on, or to choose to not trust what's coming, then you're not going to see the crops growing, even though they are, right? Because you're going to be like, no, I'm just going to shut the door, shut the windows, and I'm not going to leave the house. It's your choice. It's your choice. So universe really wants to emphasize, fall in love with every aspect of your life. Fall in love with every aspect of the earth, of the world, of physical reality. And you'll see that they're building. It's a positive upswing. There's good stuff that's happening. It's not destroying. It's not the end of the world. It's not death. It's the renewal after the ending of something. Okay, so again, we're looking at perspective. How are you going to look at something? If you see something, if you see the caterpillar going, I don't know actually how it works. I don't think the caterpillar dies, but it's the end of the caterpillar and the beginning of the butterfly, right? But it's still the same being. So you have to know that there's the butterfly is there. The butterfly, this is building. It's not a destruction. It's a growth. Okay, I think that's like the biggest message. Okay, all right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.